everyone. We're back live. Wow, what a blunder. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in and working with me. And a special thanks to my awesome guest, who's an outstanding gentleman. This gentleman right here is working with me through my technical difficulties, so I super appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for tuning back in. And let's just continue the show on the road.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Woo.
yeah. Man, you were telling us about your jacked arms and your golf swing. I appreciate, but man, so how is life? How's your health, bro? How's everything? How are you staying so good looking, man? How you taking care of your physique?
Dude, water, man. I think water is so good.
Thank you.
There's this interview. Do you know who John Daly is?
Who's that?
He's a pro golfer from like the 2000s. He was like the anti-Tiger, basically like overweight. Like didn't he didn't care like about his physique or anything. Uh,
Okay.
he smoked since he was like 19, um, and that's like 2 packs a day. Like he was crazy. Yeah, and then
Wow.
he would be drunk, like every day. Yeah, yeah, dude was like the anti-Tiger really. But in this interview, he was like, "Yeah, I like to eat McDonald's, like, and I like the fountain drinks from McDonald's." He's like, and I hate water. I just hate water. I can't drink water. So,
Man,
um,
water is the answer though.
right?
Man. It's Ramadan right now, and I get to be fasting and whatnot.
Yeah.
Water is what helps me replenish, especially like on days like this. It's like mad hot, but water is what keeps me going, man. That's what it is. I think. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have water, where are you gonna squeeze? Like, where is your stomach gonna get what it needs? Right? It's just like squeezing everything, trying to get more.
yes, yes, yes. And man, you need water for everything, bro. Like if I took anything away from biochemistry, is drink your water. Like what
Yeah.
I had a habit, bro. Shout out to you for putting me on to take care of myself and like long term effects and commitment. I developed a habit of drinking water first thing in the morning to replenish. Um, After
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd
A little
wake
bit of
up.
lemon,
Ooh, okay. Nah,
right?
just straight up
Yeah.
water. But you put a
Mm.
little lemon in yours.
You could, yeah. But
Nice.
my buddy was saying that you got to drink water until 10 a.m. and then you can have coffee. You can't go backwards because once you got coffee, then you're fighting an uphill battle because you're just dehydrated. You're gonna like be more and more dehydrated. So you got to go hydrate and then drink coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because coffee is
Yeah.
also a diuretic. I agree. I agree. And man,
Yeah.
I
Makes
know
you poop and
you're
fart. Yeah.
yes, yes, that do be happening, good sir. Thank
Right.
you. uh,
If you ain't pooping, farting, there's something wrong with you.
Dude, when I used to go to the office and work, if I used to drink water and then eat my breakfast and then use the restroom number two, evacuate is what I like to think of it. I like to call it.
Yeah.
And bro, if I don't evacuate in the beginning of my day, I feel like I feel like a walking bag of cause low key I that's how I be if I don't let it out. So yeah,
Yeah.
your sustenance, but whatever you don't take from your sustenance, your body wants to excrete, not hold on to
Yeah.
for
Excretion. Evacuation. I like that.
all yours, bro. All yours, bro. Yeah, man. I didn't think of this before. I never really thought about it, but it's like the waste is toxic. So even though it's something that's passive, that's sitting there, my lack of action didn't didn't do me any good, and it would I if I leave that stuff in my body, I don't evacuate. Um, I'm not taking good care of myself. Speaking taking good care of ourselves or oneself, you obviously are doing well drinking water. Any other tips, any other pointers how to take care of oneself, bro?
Shoot. I'm not. I don't know. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but recently, just uh, been biking a lot. Um, Trying to get that heart rate high.
Mm.
Um, Try to go to like zone five, every once in a while. Um, but if I'm going for like like a chill ride, stay in like zone three. Zone three is zone three or two, like fat burn, like just the same shape. Um, but if I'm really trying to dig, I go zone four, zone five. Um, and for me that's like about 180, and
Okay.
180 up is like zone five for me. Um, but I know people who go to like 195 and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, I'd be sitting at like 155, 160 sometimes. uh, but
Oh,
then,
really? That's good.
yeah. But sometimes, dude, when I don't drink enough water, I don't get as bad. I know one of my friends who also trains and fasts and is a student. Um, he goes down 12 pounds. He's like 172. He said he goes
Yeah.
down to like 160 sometimes when
Oh, shoot.
yeah, it's like
Wait, is that your homie? You and your homie met the father of jujitsu, right? That's
yeah.
crazy. Wait, how did that happen?
Dude, no clue. But by the grace of God, bro. No, man. It's I'm just I'm being an unprofessional right now. The stream is not doing me very good, so I apologize. I'm trying to do my guests some justice, but it's not. My bandwidth is unable to sustain right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. But
We You could
I'm.
record it and then
Thank you. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm recording, so I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. So we've talked a little bit about taking care of yourself in terms of physical health, physical wellness, bro. Um, which I think is super important. I had the privilege to speak with Yoon. I don't know if you got to see that episode on an earlier episode in the podcast, and we talked about, and I've been talking about ingesting things that are other than food. Consumption is things other than food. It could be emotions, feelings, thoughts,
Mm.
uh, morale, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So recently, what I've been trying to do is consume educational pieces, informational pieces, and the like. Um, so you put me on. Thank you so much for that, for the PBS Asian American documentary, or that's what it was called, and I got to watch it, bro, and it opened my mind so much to things that I literally had no idea happened at more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Some some things that I that's what I'm trying to say is the importance of speaking about things, and the importance of studying history. Um, what did I want to say that it was really eye opening, and I'm thankful for the experience. I'm thankful for having watched it and learned a little bit of it, learned a little bit from it. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
do
glad
you?
to hear it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Could you share with
Yeah,
us just like an overview of what's your thoughts about this? You've watched it. Is that am I? You know which one I'm talking
yeah,
about, right?
yeah. There's like a couple episodes. Some of it can be a little slow, but I think, yeah, like you said, the overall message is super good. That a lot of that's like overlooked. I think. I think it goes back to like the very beginning about how like Chinese people came to port cities and started like working on railroads. Um, and there's like, there's so much history there, and just like simple stuff. The fact that like Angel Island was, um, you know, such a dark contrast between Ellis Island. Like a lot of people kind of overlook that, just like as a gate to like coming here. But really, Angel Island was, um, like it was a pretty bad place to be. Like they were not trying to have people come through, and there was a lot of like gang violence with like
Mm.
Irish people. Yeah, I don't know. I think it just shows the struggle a lot.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
just people don't really think about it.
And
And then it definitely goes into more recent events too, like Vincent Chin. Um, like a lot of people I ask, like all my Asian American friends, like nobody even knows. Nobody knows about Vincent Chin. Um, and he's basically like a guy who was working, um, in some unrelated field, outside of the automotive industry, but two white males, in Chicago thought he was Japanese, but
mm,
Chin, that's he's a Chinese guy, and then they basically, were upset about the American, the American fallout from the automotive industry, and basically just accused him of being Japanese when he was Chinese, and then brought him out and like beat him with a bat, and he died. And then they were like tried and only had to pay a couple $1,000 fine. Um, yeah, and I think Gemma Chan is going to make a documentary about it. She's the
mm.
Crazy Rich Asian lady, but yeah, she's gonna make a documentary about it. So I'm glad to hear it. But this is in the 80s, so it's actually pretty recent, and just not a lot of people talk about it. Um, so yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean, there's a lot going on there
there
because
is a lot
at
of
the
that.
same time, yeah, at the
Yeah.
same time, like I thought that, like, this is really horrible, but African American people have
Mm,
had Vincent Chin plus like
mm.
hundreds of others. Like we
Yeah.
have
I
him as
appreciate
an
the
example.
awareness that you bring to the
You
table as
know,
well.
it's like, yeah, I just, to put it
It's
in the whole perspective.
Yes, yes. There's there is a it's sad to say, I say this with like a heavy heart, there is a bigger perspective of struggle around the world, you know, and in this great nation's history, which is super sad. It makes me sad to learn about these things. Like, you know, it made me, like you said, like you brought up some good points about, you brought up these events, and this event in particular that's quite powerful. Someone, you know, their life destroyed, and what was the consequence? Just fines. Um, but what I was trying to say is, you brought this up that you didn't know about it, and that's what I think is so important, so critical to highlight, that there are some things that we may not know about, and just spreading knowledge about it could help us, you know, strive
Yeah.
towards peace and positivity. But if we first don't
Yeah.
acknowledge it,
Yeah.
um,
Like, fast forward a little bit too.
mm,
Um, During the Rodney King riots,
mm-hmm,
there was like huge tension between Korean people, and a
mm,
lot of these store owners were out there with military experience. Korean store owners, were armed, uh, and there is a story about how, I can't remember the name, but an African American girl is accused
mm,
of stealing, and then the store owner is saying, like, give that back, or like, or get out of here.
mm,
And then they, you know like, they fight across the cash register, and then
mm.
as she's walking out, she shoots her in the back of the head. And then,
Whoa.
yeah, basically, yeah, this is kind of in a similar way. Like, this lady actually gets off on this, you know, just on the basis of just accusing someone that she stole is pretty wrong. So, I think,
Yeah. Too many
yeah,
unnecessarily, unjustifiably, and when we look at it in hindsight, could have been completely avoidable. Too many of those situations happen where it escalates
yeah,
unnecessarily. And
yeah,
I had the privilege of speaking with my good friend Brennan Rubin, Ruby Tuesday, last episode, and I was thankful for him to highlight this experience he had with someone who, you know, over like an empty shopping cart that was left in the parking lot behind my friend's car, this other person like flashed their gun at him. Just,
no way.
yeah. And what the reason why I bring up that story is because through verbal interactions, my friend de-escalated that situation by asking a rational question, or, you know, I'm not sure what to classify the question or what to say about it, but he said, basically asked, you know, that the other person, are you gonna shoot me? And sometimes what I thought was so powerful about that is, sometimes we, and thankfully, obviously, you know, I say this, that did not happen. That's not always the case, as you just mentioned, as you just brought to our attention. Um, but the powerful thing is, we have a decision. We do have a choice to de-escalate, or, you know, which is the harder choice. I do think that's a more difficult, more challenging. It comes with greater reward, and, you know, those things go hand in hand. It's not
Yeah.
easier. It's not easier.
The shopping cart was behind some guy's car,
Yeah, the
and
guy
the
left it behind
yeah,
my friend's car, and my friend was like, you know, like this. And then that
yeah,
guy drove off and came back around, and then like hopped out of his
uh,
car and flashed his gun.
uh,
Like,
where was it?
yeah, you know, this
Target.
wasn't.
You said Target.
This was it was like outside like a Safeway in Arizona. uh, yeah, yeah, but
So
you
petty.
know,
People are so petty. That's absolutely
yes,
ridiculous. Like, we're
yes.
really to the point that we have to bring a gun out for something like that.
Right. Why do you think
absolutely
that is,
ridiculous.
bro? Why do you think that is? People that people are petty or maybe escalate things unnecessarily. Could you offer a speculation?
Yeah, I mean, not really. No, I don't know, man. I think, yeah, it's just,
It's kind of
um, people
illogical.
just
Like,
treat it. Yeah, it's like, oh, treat it lightly, like it's
mm,
like to bring a gun out is a light thing. Like maybe people have been kind of
mm.
normalized to just, I don't know, a lot of violence stuff going on. So they're like, okay, you know,
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
my piece. Look at my piece.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People choose to live by the peace rather than live in peace.
Yeah. Have you heard of the Oath Keepers?
The Oath Keepers?
Yeah.
No, is that a show? I'm sorry, I don't know what is that.
No, it's just like I was hearing about this group of um, basically those people who committed treason at the White House on the day of it was the day of like the final vote counting. Um,
Okay.
remember they had that rally. Basically,
Yeah.
the Oath Keepers are like this um,
Oh no.
militia group that their their whole goal is to keep like keep uphold the Constitution, and they
Mm.
say um, that their enemy is anyone who tries to change it. So when asked about this in an interview, this woman who's an oath keeper was like, or they basically asked her to like identify the problem, and she's like, oh, right now there's good versus evil, and you know, like we're good basically. Like she has zero basis, zero understanding or identifying the problem. Just
Mm.
basically like people are trying to change the Constitution, so they, they're wrong and we're right. Um,
It's
but
I don't
this
know what
group
to
is
call
like a
that thinking.
highly
It's
highly
primitive.
trained. Yeah, it's
Mm.
like a highly trained group. It's actually kind of scary because they asked one of these members like, "What do you say to people who consider you guys just like want to be vigilantes, on the
Okay.
street?"
Mhm.
And they're like, "Well, it's like, oh, well, some of our chapters have actually active police members, like, and some of our training is like superior to
Uh-huh.
theirs because like we have military experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. Like you see these guys with like ARs, like storming
Wow.
next to
Wow.
like like Black Lives Matter protests and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. The contrast is stark of what is considered, I don't know, allowable, what is considered like people's rights, and you just look at different rallies or whatever you would call them, movements, protests, congregations, whatever, large groups gathering together, and it varies by a construct. It's race. Race is a construct, and the outcome varies based on that construct, which is just primitive. It's not. It's unnecessary. It's unproductive. It's not for modern society, and
It's
it
perception. I think people
perception.
like the issue is people are like unwilling to understand, or people are all like lazy mode. People want the easy way out, so
Mm,
they try to just it's like a surface level argument. There's no
mm.
understanding of both sides. It's just like, well, there's people trying to do something different, so we need to stop that from happening.
Agreed. Agreed. That's
Yeah.
such a good point. Thank you for sharing. Um, we did dive a little deeper than I am comfortable with, into these sensitive topics, these tense topics. It is the positive community podcast. So we talked a little about what's going on in the community, in the larger community. Uh, let's transition to.
My
Oh
bad.
no,
I'm
no,
I'm
no!
salty.
I appreciate the conversation. Not at all. I welcome all conversation. I just choose not to further this one anymore in this path. We have a great gentleman in the chat who's, man, eager. They have retracted their comment now, but they wanted me to ask you. They have these questions for you, man. So it's a good one. I'm gonna talk about it. he asked me. He asked me to ask you about your air fryer, bro. uh, please. He says, please. We are on it. Yeah. It's a microwave, literally. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Man,
made sweet potato fries last night. It turned out pretty good.
you gotta, whoever is listening, if you're interested in air frying, if you're interested in any of that, you gotta get the 7-in-1 or like the 20-in-1, whatever it is at Costco. Uh, got the rotisserie chicken option in there. I'm not sponsored or anything, or I'm not affiliated with Costco. It just makes really good food. It's like a microwave that you cook your food in, bro. What? Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
turns so it's turning, and you don't have to do anything. And the skin, how does the skin come out, or do you not put skin?
Dude, excellent quality skin. It turns out really crispy, delicious, and and I love it. It's low effort. You just marinate it, throw it in there. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, man. But nothing. I don't know, man. I love the air fryer, but nothing compares to that chicken you used to make back in college off your. that.
dude, off
Tell us a little
the
bit about that, bro.
just my aunt. It's like a combination of seasoned salt, Lowry salt, like onion powder and garlic powder. I can't remember what else is in it, but I just kind of like dry brine the chicken, and once it goes into the oven, it just like it comes out popping. I don't know what it was. It just it came out so crispy. It was almost like fried
Yes, yes, yes,
every
yes.
single time. Yeah, I think it's because you kind of like dry brine it, so it when it marinates, it like draws the water out, and then
Mm.
once it goes in the oven, and you can't really overcook those things, right? You just put the chicken thighs in, and that's it.
Yeah, never came out dry either, so never did overcook it. And you want your chicken cooked well. You want to think about cooking chicken, man. You come to the man right here. He'll cook up some good chicken. He could share a recipe or two. I don't know. He got
I
it
got the
from the
kernel.
fam.
I got it from the kernel.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah, yeah,
keep the
yeah,
kernel. Yeah.
yeah. So, bro, you are taking care of yourself. You're drinking your water. You're air frying. Uh, let's zoom out. Let's backtrack a little bit. Let's rewind. I commend you for doing this, because as your friend, I'm glad to see you take action that is for your benefit, and it's related so that I like to wander sometimes in conversation. So I'm gonna give the gist, and then I'll wander it so you could. So for those of you listening, uh, you could follow through, but you freed yourself from a job you no longer wanted. Is that my sort of accurate in phrasing it that way or saying that?
Yeah, the day I left was as good as the day I joined.
Wow. Okay. That is
Yeah,
some contrast. So
yeah,
exactly, you had a really good day, like first day, as I remember. It was a good job. It was big projects, respectable position, and other benefits that came with it. I don't want to speak on them on your behalf, but at the beginning you liked the job. Uh,
yeah. I mean, it was good,
mhm.
um, throughout, but it just had a falling out in terms of my interests and also the intensity level. It just, I knew it wasn't right from my only regret was just not um, like pursuing what I wanted earlier. I would say that
Mm.
was the only issue. I should have gotten pulled myself out of it earlier. But I mean, the pandemic kind of made things weird. Wasn't too sure what was going on, so that's kind of why it got prolonged. But you know, now I, there's good jobs out there. You just got to find them, and taking the time off between is probably the best thing you can do. Talking to many other people, that it's really common, and it just having the job gives you that false sense of accomplishment because you're getting that like weekly or biweekly, monthly paycheck. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
if you can just free yourself from that part, then you should just do it. Not saying quit your 9 to 5, but you know, a lot of my friends have done that recently. So
Yeah, I think that's the move. Hey, we got Justin in the chat. I would love both of your insights on how to live your best life. Uh, you just hit that right now, man. Talk about living your best life. We got Mr.
play that
Ford.
little Duval. Let's play that little Duval right now.
Man, you diversifying. I like that. You
Play
got
that.
got great taste in music, man. You make music too. But maybe project did come in, man. I'd love to hear it, but Mr. Forneal, oh no, what's going on? Mr. Forneal saying, "Hi, brothers, sending hugs y'all way. I appreciate that, man." And he says, "You look mad handsome
Hey,
as well." Jeez. Appreciate the love, man. You bringing out awesome people. You're bringing out great things in people. So you outgrew your job, yeah? So or you outgrew your position. What happened? Walk us through. Why do you think you would have benefited, and how did you come to the decision that it was time for you to leave? So that
well,
we and the
yeah,
listeners could further benefit from your experience.
yeah. I told people like, you know, I would take a 30% uh,
Okay.
deduction to work if it was better, all across the board. And that's still true. It. I think being able to like I don't know, living in the way I live is uh, I just stash all of my checks pretty much. So
Mm,
I didn't really have a serious
me.
increase in in
Okay.
having all that money, or decrease in not getting it. So just
Like
being able
you
to
mean
think independently from the income, that will help you decide basically. Like because I don't like adjust my lifestyle based on if I'm having income or not. It's like this is something I objectively want to spend money on. Okay, then that'll be it. And so being able to see it from that light is how I kind of made the decision. Um,
What a beautiful outlook too. What a beautiful perspective on in life, on your job, on your professional commitment.
yeah, don't chase money bag. You know, don't chase the bag.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Even though they tell you to be a bag getter or whatever, what I think you're invaluably sharing here is there's more to life than that.
Yes, yes,
Value your time. Put a time, put a value on your time and what you're gonna give to people, what you're gonna give to organizations, et cetera, et cetera. But do things because they bring you joy, because you enjoy it, and it makes your journey in life worthwhile. Is that
100% so, 100% so.
beautiful? Beautiful. So, what do you do with that liberated time, bro? You talk about your lifestyle and not increasing or decreasing your quality of living or dependent on a job or on an income. So, uh,
Yeah,
share.
been playing a lot of golf. You riding the
Yeah, I could
bike.
see your biceps been huge from playing golf, man.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just like that guy, trying to crush it, on the at the driving range, try to court flag. Uh,
Nah, man, you're super nice with it. You're super nice with it.
yeah, no, I think I'm better now than I was before. I could be better now than before, just because
Whoa,
like
that's
I'm a
saying a
lot.
lot.
I think I'm just like more willing to change things now. Does that make sense? Like golf is all about like adapting and like changing, based
How
on
so?
like every shot you need to hit. Like is gonna be like you hit your drive, and then your next
Mm,
shot is gonna be really short. Like you got to make a serious mental adjustment. Um,
wow.
just
Um,
having to approach everything and take in all the factors such as wind and where your ball's sitting. That's a lot. Um, I think I think I've matured with the game. Does that make sense?
mm,
Like before, I just wouldn't like commit to changing up my next
mm.
shot or something. Now I'm like, okay, I'm like in this spot now. I need to do something completely different.
Based on what happened.
Yeah, like
Ba-
if I'm in a bad spot, I can get out of it a lot better now because I'm like, okay, I just need to get out. Like I need to
you're
adjust
adaptable.
fully. Yeah,
Nice. I love that. It makes me think, man, and this is, I say this with all due respect to everyone and praise or and whatnot, recognition to everyone that I'm mentioning. But I recently attended a seminar, a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu seminar with uh, real Royce Gracie, the gentleman who won like four of the first five UFCs, and he's like a MMA champion and this and that, put jujitsu on the map. But uh, one thing particular that clicked when you said adjusting and playing to the game, playing to the wind, playing to your
yep,
previous stroke.
exactly, exactly. Playing like just taking in all the factors and making an informed decision. It's
Mm,
it's yeah, I've definitely grown a lot in that.
that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
And what he was saying, what clicked, or what the reference I was trying to make, or the tie I was trying to make, is he said he has a game plan. He doesn't have a wish, and he went through like this sequence where he like said, "Oh, you can't tell yourself you're gonna go to your opponent. You're gonna go to your position that you want. You're gonna go to your first move that you want. You're gonna execute that perfectly, and then you're gonna finish the match off exactly how you want it. He's like,
Mm.
when people tell me that that's their game plan, he says that he responds, "That's not a game plan. That's a wish." uh,
Mm.
and
That's
he's
so
like,
smart. Yeah, that's so
so
smart.
yeah, yeah, and that's what you just said. Basically, that's what you said. But that's what you said you do. It's action. Action is greater than words. So I super appreciate that, and I
Yeah.
really respect that.
So jujitsu is kind of like getting to a spot and like knowing what to do exactly in that spot and processing it 100 times.
Yes, 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 yes. That you get to a
It's the same
spot.
thing in golf. It's the exact same thing.
Really.
Yeah.
Practice. I think there's a common theme, and it's practice, practice, practice. As the answer AI says, we talk about practice. Uh, Unfortunately, we are talking about practice. So if you want to get better, because in jujitsu, you're kind of, it depends on how you play or what scenario you're practicing jujitsu. God forbid you're out in the street and you're doing like self defense because you need to, or what have you, or you're doing like a sport jujitsu or you're training jujitsu. But sometimes you're doing it for survival. So if you want to, you don't want to think too much when you're in a certain position. So you want to get exposure, you want to practice more, you want to get exposure to these different positions so that if you get in this position, you're not thinking, oh, I know the move, but how do I execute it? Like, how do I put my body? By that
Yeah.
time, the other person could have made so
Mhm.
many other moves and
Yeah.
changed the equation, and it's
Yeah.
you're so
Like exactly the same, the goat in golf, Tiger.
mm,
Like every shot is an intentional shape. Like he doesn't go out to hit
okay.
the ball straight. Like he's actually known for he what's called a fade. Is he going left to right as a right-hander or a draw right to left? Like every single time he goes out, he's basically trying to pull it one direction.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and that's in terms of where the hole is or the wind. There's so many factors, but like you said, being able to execute in all those situations is like greatness, right? Like he would win tournaments by like 10 strokes. Like he would destroy the the fleet.
Because he's intentional, and because I mean there's so many good things about Tiger, and you know when you said the goat in golf, I was like, I have him right here.
Up and comer.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. If people don't know, they're sleeping. I don't know what they're doing. Uh,
Like that's like MSU.
Dude, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, man,
Are
we
you gonna
got.
respond? Is it like class to respond to be like, thank you very much, but I've signed to. I'm taking my talents to what's this? What's the town called?
Clovis.
Clovis. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
taking my talents to Clovis.
the gateway to the Sierra. uh, yeah, it's common courtesy. First of all, just common courtesy
I was
to let
wondering.
them. Yeah, yeah, because especially there's also wait lists and such. So I'm there's obviously like limited number of seats, so I'm allotted a seat at this time, but they also
Sure.
have they said that I didn't get a chance to look at it today, but I'm an email is forthcoming, and that is going to tell me like the turnaround time that they want me to answer them or to get back to them. And at this time in the season, at this point in the application, admissions, and acceptance and enrollment, matriculation season, I think it's going to be like they want it no later than 2 week turnaround time. Um, but yeah, exactly. Like me, so for example, I'm on a couple wait lists for some schools. I'm ecstatic. My brother-in-law has an amazing attitude, amazing perspective, and he says like, you're you're on the track now. I was sort of in free space. I was free roaming in between UCR and undergrad and professional school. Um, but he says like, now you've secured a ticket. So wherever you go, as long as you're diligent, you're gonna become a doctor. Um,
Yeah,
so God,
amazing.
yeah. So God
That's
willing.
amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. And man, remember, dude, I'm getting like, I'm super appreciative for you for many, many things, bro. I'm actually grateful that this kind of came up spontaneously. I, for those who don't know, I had the privilege of living with Harry for 2 years, formally, or like in a committed fashion, and then lived in and out of housing situations. We were hall mates in the dorms our first year, and one thing, what I want to highlight, or what I want to bring attention to, is Harry's commitment to just all around living a good life, and his interest, Harry, your interest in people succeeding, not just yourself. Not just yourself. And that's what's super beautiful. I don't know how to highlight that. I was brainstorming this episode of how I could bring that to conversation, but um, you helped me get through a lot of points where I didn't know where I was going. We were much younger, distractions were more prevalent. There was much more like freestyle, people doing their own things, different things, and you just wanted, like, I don't know, for me, for yourself, for us, to live a good life. uh, and like now, few years later, couple years later, more than a couple years later, uh, you're living your best life, man. You're living an amazing life. I'm living a great life by being friends with you. uh, so for those who are, so that it could be a conversation, and for those listening could get more to take away from this. How, bro? Why, bro? Why do you care for others to succeed? What, you don't get any, I'm being sarcastic for those who can't tell, you don't get
Yeah.
any
No,
benefit from it. Why
the
do you do
the
it?
why, the why in everything is always the most important thing. It's
Okay.
like, yeah, it's like if you're gonna ask someone to do something, you're gonna be like, why? Right? It's just the most natural thing I think to say is like, oh why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think also, if that's like, let's say you're asking for something that like the other person doesn't want to do,
Mm-hmm.
if they understand your why, they're probably going to be a lot more likely to do it. I think that's something I've learned that's huge. And I think, yeah, just finding like general interest with people, cutting hair, like talking to people, that definitely has helped me like mature. I think, in kind of using the same just natural tactics, like I would having a conversation with somebody while cutting their hair, just that became like kind of like my normal tone, I think. But yeah, I think to say why is like to really get to know somebody. to really ask. Like, um, it's more important than what, probably.
I do agree. I do agree. And I'd love to add to the beautiful words you just said. And I definitely think when I personally, like, I've been working a lot on myself, and I'm a work in progress. I try to better communicate with people. There are things that I'm doing for self improvement. There are things that are doing personally. There are things that I'm doing to grow professionally, academically, etc., etc. And I'm kind of doing a lot of things at the same time, and sometimes I feel stretched thin or whatnot, but I also feel passionately about what I'm doing. And for um, sometimes I also speak abstract. I've noticed that's one of the things that I'm trying to improve with my communication skills, and sharpening that socially. But sometimes I have difficulty people following me. I have difficulty in conversation or in train of thought. And when I explain why I feel so passionately about what I'm doing, or why I feel the strong urge to push this podcast or push my efforts here, or, you know, no, 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 I do want to talk to so and so, even if it's at an inconvenient time or for me or whatever, because I am making the effort to work on myself. Long story short, I'm not gonna throw myself
Yeah.
completely under the bus right
I
now.
understand you perfectly. I think I've just, like, you kind of adjust to your friends or family, like, based on what you know about them from prior, right?
Yes.
And so, for example, like, if I'm talking to you, I think I know how to, like, get down, like, have it boiled down to be like, all right, what's he mean? So that's, I think that's why I'm effective in hearing you out,
Yeah,
right?
man.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I really appreciate that. I don't know if I say it enough, but thank you. I don't know if I say it enough, but I appreciate you for that.
I
Um,
appreciate you too.
there's there's what I'm trying to, for those who are listening and who are following along with us, I appreciate that. What I want to offer for you as like an added insight is what I really think and appreciate Harrison for is his patience and his vision when we're talking. I say something, he doesn't necessarily get my vision, but he knows that I'm trying, and that's his vision. And then he asks me to clarify, or doesn't just be like, yeah, 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 yeah. Cool, cool. Next. Get on with it.
Unless I'm tired, unless I'm really tired.
Which is all the time. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, man. So what do you do? You're also a human being. You get tired, bro. How do you how do you replenish your energy, or what do you do? Do you
Oh,
take time for yourself? Do you call up others? Do you have a day out? Do
I
you?
think, yeah, to replenish, like, mental tiredness. Is that what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying? I
Yeah.
think for me, it's less so through others and more so just um, killing time. I think,
Okay.
yeah,
Self care.
like, yeah. I think that that's probably a certain trait. Like, how do you, like, do you get tired from having to socialize? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's probably true for me.
I relate to that. I relate to
Yeah,
that.
so I feel like yeah, for mental tiredness, I'll just watch a dumb show. Like Nathan
Nothing.
for you, Eric
Yeah.
Andre.
Yeah. 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 That
I'm all about
sounds.
that guy.
Who did you say? I think I.
Nathan for you.
Oh,
You watch Nathan for you?
I don't think so. That doesn't sound
Oh,
familiar.
he does these amazing comedy skits where
Oh,
it's like it's like he'll walk into a business and say, uh, to increase your business, I think you should become, like, I think you should allow anyone to use your restroom and be like a restaurant that, um, like the neighborhood. I think he made them call themselves like the neighborhood toilet. And
oh
then he
man.
put like cameras in the bathroom to
Oh
like
no.
film people like in the
uh,
urinal, and then like
Terrible.
he made them sign it like he made him sign a NDA or something on the like to make it usable, and
Oh
then
no.
a lot of the people just sign it. He
Oh
goes, "Is it okay if
no.
I use this footage of you on national television?" And they're like, "All right."
What the heck? What in heaven? Oh man.
Yeah,
Comedy's good. Comedy's good.
yeah,
Laughing is
he's
super
really
good. That actually
he's
that is. I don't think I've been making an effort because I don't think I laugh enough. Um, there's not usually that much laughing going on outside of like people don't joke too much. Time's been rough. What have you? I think.
not a laugh.
Uh,
Yeah, gotta get a good laugh.
yes, 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 yes. Uh, yeah, man. I appreciate your insight. Did I tell you, bro? You're gonna have to come down and show me a lesson or two. We might play my first game of full on golf. My first full on game of golf ever, bro. I got a golf set righty this time, bro. Shout out my neighbors.
That's so sick. You got it from your neighbor?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's having like a moving sale, or she was having. So I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, neighbor, what's going on?" And she hooked it up. Yeah, she gave me the set. She's moving. I don't want to say anything about that, but she's moving, and I was like, "Oh man, it looks." I don't know anything about club quality and stuff, but just from what I've heard from you, I was like, "Oh, this looks." It looked kind of new. It looked kind of unused. Um, so you're gonna have to come down and help me break it in or something.
Exciting. Yeah, exciting. Specifically,
Yeah.
yeah. You've swung lefty before?
Yes. No. I've like no.
I,
Long story.
I
I've
remember,
tried it. I've tried it, but
yeah.
no.
I just
I
remember
s-
going to the driving range with all your boys. And then, I don't know, it was just so wild. It was at night. Remember
yeah. Yeah.
that?
Good times.
Yeah.
I remember. Do
It
you?
was loud. It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh man. Good friendships. Good friendships. I was stuck in thought reminiscing right now, but good people just showing hospitality or what have you to each other openly and readily.
Right.
Bro, I remember there's a picture. I remember when you swung on a golf ball like off of my chest or something in Mammoth. Do you remember that?
I think so.
You
Did
put
I?
like I gotta show you the I'm gonna send you the picture. I'll find it and I'll send it to you. But it was just good times, like simple. I don't advise anyone to do that at home, but it was just being uh, a good sport with my friend. You pushed me to be like more down for things. I think I was working on being more down. So someone
Really?
was
That's
like,
funny because, like, I feel like I have the opposite problem. I feel like I say no to a lot of things.
But that's different stages in life. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know why you say no now, or what you say no to, but different stages of life require different
yeah.
commitments, different levels of uncommitment, no commitment. Um, but you, sir, are a committed, good family man, great barber, a chef, a son. What else? And you know, um,
Appreciate it.
but bro, during quarantine, I committed my time. It was during the peak quarantine, and it's through the pandemic so far. I picked up a habit or two that I committed my time to. Uh, Dude, cooking. I've been working on it, and
Dude,
I
your
think it's
cooking is looking amazing.
dude. Thank you,
What
thank
is
you.
that? What's that charcoal device you have? Like,
It's just a grill.
it
Like,
looks sophisticated, but it does look pretty like, um, it looks like skewers, right? And you stand them up.
yes,
That
yes.
that's right, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a grill, and I have the fires. It's like a really small rectangular grill. It's like just basic metal and covering and casing or what have you. And then I have the fire starter, like where I put it's a chimney basically, where I put the
Mhm.
coal and um, but then the skewers, but then I get the meat. I either put it on. I haven't been cooking too much chicken on there. Uh, I leave that for the air fryer because cooking chicken is
Hey,
kind. You put me on, bro. Shout out. So, but it's just like I don't want salmonella, and undercooking is a problem. So I just like cook kebabs or meat. I try to cook chicken on skewers and I lay it across the width of the rectangle or of the
oh,
grill.
oh yeah.
The
One time I tried to cook haram in the air fryer, and it was not good.
What happened? What happened?
Well, I tried to cook the pork belly in there, and um,
Too long? Too
I don't,
short?
I don't know. It just like came out kind of like plasticky. It just like didn't work
Mm,
that well. I don't know. Maybe it
interesting.
needs, yeah, maybe it needs to be moved, agitated more. But
Mm, maybe, maybe. But I appreciate you sharing the experience, sharing the knowledge. I also took up walking, bro.
oh,
That
bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
thanks.
type of
Laugh.
walking from the kitchen to the bathroom.
Nah, man, from the kitchen to the living room, bro. Come on now. Nah, cause that's where I be consuming. No, I'm just kidding. Um, it's been super good. It sounds like you're interested, so I'll share more about it. But no, I'm gonna bore you to death about it. But it's good. It helps me with my patience. Helps me with my thoughts like anxiety and whatnot. I just walk. Things get too much on my mind because there's internet's always we're connected to everything at all times, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I almost feel like sometimes like you need to do like these other activities to like free yourself from your devices and whatnot. Like,
mm, like what, bro?
if you're for me, if I'm biking, it's like I'm not gonna check my phone. Um, and so sometimes it's just like nice to not check your phone for hours.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I get.
crazy that you almost need to do something like that to have to do it. Like it's just hard to have the discipline to put your phone away.
I have that. I for sure. You know, I mean, I'm here. I usually spend most of my time here, um, so I could have my phone really nearby, or sometimes I have my messages come up on the monitor. So it's it's really difficult. You know, life. I'm thankful for internet. I'm thankful for technology. I lived my early life with terrible internet, lack of electricity, like for maybe
Right.
over 20 hours a day. So
That's
I,
crazy.
you know,
It would
sometimes,
go out after 20 hours.
dude, it would come on for like an hour at most. If we had electricity, if we had, so there was like what's we call it was called national, that, you know, if you translate it, that's what it was called. There was national electricity that came from the government, or came from, yeah, the government. I mean, you know, it's kind of like saying, like, we didn't have Edison, but Edison has a contract, I'm sure, with the government, and they supply it to the citizens. uh, so we there was thankfully we had the opportunity to uh, not rely on the national source of electricity. We also had private, which many homes, many families, many people in Iraq. This is where I'm talking about back at the time, up until 2007 when we left for Jordan, my family and I. And what I was saying is, you know, but you also, it was private, so you ran that on your own gas, on your own time, and we lived in like a quadplex that my grandfather, God rest his soul, built for his children, built, which one of his children is my father, and that's where we lived. So we had like a really, it was a for four houses. So we had like a big generator that wasn't turned on all the time. And especially, you know, now, today, April 30th, 2021, in
You're gonna need that
South
in Texas.
in Southern California, you know, where I am, today was like 96, bro.